Welcome to the Struggle Bubble. I'm Chad Cutting.
And I'm Craig Sergi.
Today we are joined by a special guest and a good friend, Lisa Mitchell. Lisa is currently the varsity head women's soccer coach at Los Gatos High. Coaches with Craig. You may have heard her name in a few of the stories as Craig brags about the success that those girls have had. Lisa, thank you for joining us.
Of course, glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
The first thing that I really want to talk about is Craig as an assistant coach. I want to, if we can do his performance review as an assistant, I would love to hear from you directly on how well or poorly he did this year.
Craig gets an A+ as an assistant.
Lisa.
And he didn't pay me to say that either. No, Craig, obviously the girls respond great to him. He, brings the fun, he brings the humor, but most importantly, he brings obviously the knowledge of the game of soccer. I think both him and I make a great team. And like I said, the success of the team this year, as well as, you can call me the head coach, or on paper, I'm the head coach and Craig's the assistant, but I'm going to be honest, like we make a great team and we both have our strengths and weaknesses. And so I would like to say that we're both more of co-head coaches side by side right next to each other. So our success he was a huge part of it. It wasn't, just me. It was both of us together.
That's pretty kind because given your background.
It's the truth.
Currently, yes, the head coach at Los Gatos, phys ed teacher locally at the middle school. Your background, pretty impressive, though, throughout your soccer career, through Santa Clara, through the national teams. As you see soccer at the top level through the course of your life and your career, how do you see that translate? Because we see so many coaches struggle to go from that top tier in competitive soccer or any competitive sport and try to translate that at the high school or elementary level.
Yeah, I mean, I would say just like a lot of, our kids right here in Los Gatos, it's, even with my twins right now, it's just, starting on the local team, playing, having coaches that make it not only fun, enjoyable, wanting to be out there. Both my 7-year-olds want to go to practice. And so I just started playing right here in Los Gatos. It was I think we would call it Los Gatos Link. So just, my parents signed me up, made friends, played with my friends all the way through high school. And I think coaches had a huge part of that. You wanted to go out there, you wanted to play for your coach, you respected your coach. And yeah, I think at the time when I was in high school, I want to say, was it 1991? Was that the first World Cup or maybe Olympics with like Brandy?
I'm just kind of looking now. Yeah.
So yeah, and like you say, the television, the social media, it definitely wasn't around. Those names were thrown out there, like, Brandy and whatnot. But
91.
It was the love of the game.
Was the first.
Yeah, 91, I think, was the first one, which I graduated high school in 95. So I would have been, I guess, maybe a freshman in high school. But I would just say the love of the game, going out and playing it. You love the game. You love your friends, the coaches, and just the game itself. And so that's, I want to say, is probably how I, just got involved and continued to play because I really enjoyed it.
And have you seen that translate into your approach in coaching? You've had that love of the game from early on. How do you bring that to the field?
Like any sport, the game has evolved, from back in the day. I think having coaches that I really respected and wanted to play for, and being a teacher here in the community and knowing that my kids are going to be going through the school system and, they like soccer as well. I want to be able to bring, I think, that same thing for the students and the girls that are growing up here in Los Gatos. And so to coach at the high school level, I wanted to make sure that the practices, the games, and just like I said, just like Craig, want them to be out there, want them to play high school. And now with just how things are going with college and professional sports and clubs and this ECNL, there's some high school kids, girls that aren't even playing high school. But I would say for Craig and I mean, we got, I think every single girl who could play high school played for us and didn't not play for us because they played with their club team. I can maybe think of one off the top of my head, but other than that, they wanted to be there. They wanted to represent their school. And so I think just having that mentality as a coach that not only do we want to be competitive, but at the same time, we want them to enjoy this experience because this is a once in a lifetime experience playing in high school.
Yeah. 100%. It's different. Well, and then that kind of like leads to, so there was no ECNL back when you were playing. You were just playing local league soccer, etc. And then obviously you got pulled into Santa Clara. Did Jerry come and scout you? Because he must have only been in charge for a few years at that point.
Yeah, I think back in my day, it seems so long ago, ancient, but yeah, I mean, it was like fall season and spring season, and we obviously had games, a league, had tournaments, and that's where the college coaches would come see you. They would come out to your games, whether it was just a league game or a tournament game. They didn't have these big ECNL showcases in Phoenix or San Diego or North Carolina. And so, yeah, it just seemed like it was simpler back then. So yeah, so I think Jerry came out obviously and watched me play. I think one of his assistants actually at the time, Philippe Blin, was my club coach. And was an
Philippe that was
assistant.
over at, he went to Pleasanton.
He went to Pleasanton, yeah, and he's French, so he may have moved back to France,
Yeah,
I
he's
think.
back. He's
But yeah,
back in Morocco now. He's a great coach.
is he? Oh yeah, I think his wife
Yeah,
actually might be from Morocco, is what it is.
yeah,
So
that's right.
anyway, so yes, it was just, yeah, came out to the games, recruited me, and then that's how I ended up at Santa Clara.
Then how did you get from? So I'm trying to remember your SC years now. Did you guys win NCAA in your
No, so
years or no?
unfortunately, no. So I think they have 2 championships. 2001, Leslie Osborne was the first one
Yeah.
in 2001. I graduated in 1999 from Santa Clara. So my 4 years there, 3 out of my 4 years, we went to the Final Four. So I was at 3 Final Fours, but unfortunately, we couldn't bring it home. Bummer, but
And just for you, Chad, as you know, we won CCS at that stadium this year.
I
Just
was there.
to bring it up again.
I was there, and you've talked about this. I mean, the season's been over. Start looking towards next year. Congratulations, you've gotten your kudos. You've done great.
we're gonna talk about it until season actually starts
So
next
somebody
fall.
else
As you
wins
should.
it, as we
As you
should.
should.
You
Yeah.
might hear it a few more times.
As you absolutely should. It's been incredible to see that growth of the team, and I'm curious on that. We've talked a lot about the rec versus comp early on. I want to dig in a little bit as you receive high school kids in the soccer program. How much of that is inheriting comp program kids coming in, and how much do you get not new soccer players but kids that have continued to play and maybe hit their growth spurt late? How are you evaluating the girls that are coming into the program?
You can answer that
Yeah,
one.
I know, because obviously you're getting a group of girls that are coming from these top, top clubs, all the way from freshmen to seniors, and so we're looking at obviously, I mean, what they bring athletically, position wise, technical skill. And I think we also know, just even at the high school level, it's like you want a team that and players that are bringing a positive, and obviously you want a competitive quality team, but you also want a group of girls that work well together, don't cause drama, and just want to be there to play for not only each other, but for their school. And I think we were fortunate. I know this was my first year. Craig's been there a couple of years, but I really felt this year, like the group of girls that we evaluated at the beginning of the season, Craig and I talking about it, that they were a group that wanted to play with one another. They had each other's backs. They gave everything. I mean, the end of the season, some of these girls were literally just hanging on by a thread with injuries, but yet they still showed up every single day, wanting to go out there and, compete. So yeah, so you're getting a group of girls from different clubs, different personalities, some who are playing 90 minutes where, high school, maybe they, weren't playing 90 minutes, weren't starting, but yet they still were there showing up every single day.
Yeah. It's really hard, Chad, because, Lise touched on it. You got to love the game to keep going all the way to your 18, 19 anyway, just because, training changes, coaches changes, all those things that we know about. But I think one of the big things is it's really difficult in our, in our high school, just because we've got such elite talent in that 1 or 2 year age group that we've got this year. So some of the kids we have some really hard conversations with of like, look, you're a top player, but the person you're trying to replace is already signed to a D1 school, and they're potentially going to play D1 as a freshman. You're trying to break into, it's kind of like international soccer, right? You're trying to break into that next level where there's just a whole group ahead of you. So yeah, I love that you love the game. And that's to Lisa's point. We had a great group of girls that really understood their role and understood they would get minutes in certain games, but wouldn't get minutes in other games just because of the talent pool that we were fortunate to have. But it's hard conversations. But it's life as well. So
they're coming from these top comp programs, some signed D1, the girls are getting a little bit of pressure not to play high school sports. Is that right? I mean, the rules against it of playing comp at the same time as high school. How do you see that balance in alleviating that pressure for the girls? Is that conversations that you're having? Is it conversations with administration to administration? It just seems like there's a disconnect between what's best for the kids and what may be best for a comp program.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, yeah, I think the pressure is coming probably from the club coaches for them not to play high school. And then I think even with some of our veteran players, our juniors, possibly seniors, and I think, Craig and I are going to be, dealing with this next year, girls who aren't going to be playing high school because whether they, don't want to get hurt before they go off to these D1 colleges to play. Now, maybe the colleges are, you can go, I guess now, and I don't know all the rules, yet, but I think you can go in early, like in the spring to start training with the college. And so some of these girls are deciding to do that. And so, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have a strong opinion on, one or the other. I mean, I definitely think I know there were some freshmen where the coaches basically told them that they didn't want them to play high school and to stay playing with the club, but they chose high school over club. And once again, I think I heard that some of these girls, I don't want to say that they were penalized, but supposedly when they came back, their position, they were sitting out, not getting as many minutes. And was that because they decided to play high school and not club? So yeah, so I think the pressure is definitely coming from, I want to say it's coming from the club coach. And I leave it up to what's best for you and your family. I mean, that's a decision. I would love for you to play high school, but at the end of the day, I think it's best. You have to make a decision with your parents on that one. I don't think that's my call or Craig's call.
Well, at least we look at it in a kind of a certain manner of, we see the long game here, right? We see the kids in college, potentially pro or whatever they go on and doing. A lot of the club coaches see the today and to the end of the season. They're not looking, our philosophy. Chad, I don't know if you know this, I think you do, but at least when I started coaching together 18 years ago, 17 years ago, right? U8, U9 boys. So we've had the same philosophy, which is why we gel so well of, look, we're just a moment in time for these kids, right? 1 year, 2 year, whatever that may be. They've got a whole career path in front of them. Lisa and I did our thing in the game, and it's like a lot of these coaches, in my opinion, only see where they're going to the end of the season, right? And then, as we know, tryouts come in May. You may get an influx of kids from different clubs, and those kids you've had for 3 years now don't cut that next grade and get put to a different team, move to another club, whatever. So I think there's a psychological side as well that we give it into the hands of the parents. Like, what's best for your kid over the next 10 years, not what's best for us to get us to the end of the season. So it's pressure on the coaches in the club though as well, honestly.
And we've heard when we met with Rob a few weeks ago, specific to Matt, right? There's the community and the friendships that are just a little bit different with the school kids. And we see the same thing with Little League versus travel ball. It's just a little, you're playing kind of for a different reason in those moments, in those games. And yes, comp is fun. It's very competitive, able to travel, stay in the hotels, do all that fun, but there's just something special about those 4 years that you get, and maybe just a year, starting on that varsity team that you can't replace. So I think taking advantage of that. Do you think there's obviously you two great coaches worked well together. Do you think there's a mentality that the girls may not get the same level of coaching at high school with those coaches than they are in the comp programs?
Yeah, I can. I think I heard it firsthand talking with a club coach whose child plays for not Los Gatos, they're in Mountain View. And anyways, but yes, I've heard that firsthandedly that when you're playing for a high school, you're not getting that high coaching caliber from some high school coaches. And so, yes, I think that's kind of one of the reasons behind it, why these players are not playing for their high schools, because of the quality of the high school coaches. So I think that definitely plays into the decision as well, for sure.
I would love to switch gears just for a second. And you have this unique perspective within middle school right now. And let's just put soccer aside for a second. You have, the last 10 years, a movement towards screens, towards individuality. The screen is front and center, less group socializing, or just different socializing. How have you seen that change over the last 20 years in education, and that interaction and the effect that it's having on on the girls today?
Obviously, yes, being a middle school teacher, and then obviously, having my oldest being an 11-year-old. Yeah, phones, social media, it's definitely has changed the social interaction between kids. I think just this year, as you guys know, because you have kids that go to the middle school here, there was a new rule where when as soon as you enter the gates of on the campus, your phone has to be put away. It can't be seen. And 2 years ago, when that was not the rule, it was obviously the phone had to be off as soon as that bell rang when you were in first period at 8:30. But you would walk on campus and a group of like 10 kids, middle school kids, literally would not be talking to one another on their phone, looking down, whatever they were doing, not having a conversation. And now that those phones have to be put away and they're on campus, they're engaged, they're playing wall ball, they're having a conversation. Who knows what it's about. But yeah, the change in the phones and the social media and everything, it definitely has, I think, affected, our generation of kids now, just with, how to socialize, how to communicate and interact with one another. But yeah, it's definitely, there's been a huge shift, with phones these days.
Have you seen a shift in parenting habits over those same time period? When we were growing up, it was my parents were coming at me if I wasn't performing. I brought home, bad grades or a bad report or anything like that. And over the last maybe 10, 15 years, that shifted well, it's now the teacher's fault. Like, what are you doing? You should be doing this differently. Give my kid a break. Have you seen that personally?
I mean, yeah, I would say, I'm trying to think of how to answer this. Yeah, I would definitely say there's definitely been a shift in, yeah, if there's something happens at the middle school, and whether it's an email or phone call home, and you're trying to get the parents at home to kind of understand what happened, and just to say, hey, this is what happened at school. You definitely get some parents who, maybe have a different perspective on it. I know I'm trying to see how I can say this. So yes, I think there's definitely a shift in parenting from today, as opposed to, years ago.
That's different as well, because I know now with our kids, right? All their grades are instantly on their phones. They have Parent
Yeah.
Square and everything else. So it's a different pressure for the kids as well, right? And it's easier for the kids to blame somebody than just own up that I did a crap job on a test. So I think the whole system
Let's not get
is
started on having access to grades on an hourly basis.
It drives me
was
bonkers.
fed a few stories of, well, as a parent, you get that kind of immediacy of, yeah, it's good to know and you can check in, but I don't think we have, as parents, understood how to handle that. Right? It used to be semesters or quarterly, or maybe a big test comes home and you get an answer. Now it's your kid has a X grade in here. I'm not going to say the reports I've gotten over the past week, but there's a blend of not turning things in is like this new thing that I'm being introduced to both at the high school and at the middle school. If it's just not done, therefore it's an F. And right, there needs to be some advocacy for the kid or accountability for the kid to go in and say, hey, I didn't do this. Let me fight for myself, which I like. There's also if that's always accepted and it's always okay to be late, you're going to have a rough time in life because we need to be on time and turn things in. So there's a whole spectrum of emotions there of having the ability to see grades on an hourly basis.
Yeah. And actually, it's kind of funny that you bring that up because just actually dealt with a little situation where, I had a student who, and I'm just going to use they, just obviously I won't use names, but the student wanted to keep straight A's all across the grades for all classes. And we were doing a running assessment, and I just happened to be watching the students. I saw the number that this student got, so I just recorded it straight in my laptop for grades. And it definitely was a lower number than what they're used to getting for whatever reason. You always can make up an assessment if, maybe you're not feeling well, whatever the reason is. So then when the student came to report their score with me, even though I had already reported it, because like I say, I saw the student finish, they reported a number that wasn't what they actually got. And so I kind of questioned the student, and the response was, well, I know I got lower and I wanted to continue my straight A's, so that's why they reported a higher number. So we had the conversation about just integrity, right? It's not about the grade. It's about you got to earn it. And obviously, if you didn't do as well as you wanted, you can make it up. But the fact that you're reporting something that you didn't do, that's a problem, right? Like it's okay if I love the fact that you want to do well, but at the same time, I don't love the fact that you're deceiving or, lying about something to get there. Had a conversation with the parent. Parent totally obviously agreed, and supported me, had the conversation with their child. And so it's learning lessons like that, right? And this, like I said, the student is a great student. I had just sent a positive email the week before because they did something where they included another student in class. And so I know it was just a little mistake. And so right there, that's just a learning situation for this student saying, hey, it's all about integrity. You got to earn it. So yes, having grades right there on your phone 24/7 all the time, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one. The kid feels the pressure to stay at that, and we talk about it all the time, potentially, or not potentially, but in this area, there's a pressure consistently at that. I have a question about that. What do you think about the kids now doing online schooling and doing a sport full time? Because we have a lot of it in the dance world, right? Where they do auditions or they train in the day and then do online schooling. Do you think that's, you've been in the education profession for so long. Is that where it's all going? Because I don't have an answer either for my kids, because I'm like, they're using technology to help them with their homework and schoolwork and everything else that goes with it. And my biggest fear is if I just say do online schooling, you're just going to use ChatGPT and get great grades.
Yeah. I mean, now with all this Chat GPT, and I know, and once again, it's you got to do what's best or right for your child. And my thing, and like I say, it's like every kid, every family, whatever the reason is different. But yeah, I feel like there's so many positive thing. I mean, obviously, being in school, learning, being around other students your age, it's crucial for a lot of these kids. And so doing online school where you're just on a computer, and then having, yes, access to whatever to get the grade, if whether it's an honesty thing or if you're, obviously copying word for word. I don't know. It's kind of like the homeschooling or I don't know. Like I said, I think being in school, working with others, if there's a conflict, especially in PE, if we're playing a game and two students don't agree on something, how do you work through that? And I've come across many different situations where I've had to sit these kids down and talk about how you resolve a conflict. You don't sit there and argue back and forth and fight and scream at each other or push and shove. That's not how you get to a resolution here. And so, yes, I think there's so many benefits and positives, obviously being in school. But then again, you have these days, you have kids with mental illness or mental health or anxiety where, they don't learn in an environment like that. And so maybe on school or online schooling is better for them. Or like you say, they have hours and hours of dance or gymnastics. So I don't know. It's a kind of a tough question.
Craig, if you do decide to homeschool, please don't do that yourself.
Oh, it's gonna be
I'm
great.
I'm gonna advocate for your daughters right now, and I don't want that for them.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
I might send my kid.
Yeah, I'll bring Jody over. We'll have a pie.
Oh my goodness.
Again, advocating for all of your children. Do not send them to Craig. That'd be a different type of education. You'll know all about Premier League soccer and Peloton riding. But those life lessons, that's the beauty of sport. Whether it's at school through PE, the competitive track, the comp track, of being able to show those life lessons and resolving, and then taking accountability. There's some of these athletes that just believe that they can show up and be good at something. It's really humbling to go train a different sport, train a different skill, and not be good at it, and then see how the kid reacts. And I'm sure you see that all the time in PE, Lisa. You're trying every sport out just to expose the kids to different things and different skill sets. I'm curious to see the attitudes and approaches that the kids have to something new.
Yeah, I mean and I think that's one of the of coming to obviously Fisher and being part of the PE program, because we do teach them so many different. We teach archery, kickboxing. Right now, we're doing like non-traditional games where it's, obviously we've done soccer, softball, volleyball, but we're teaching them game castle ball. Today it was called, what was it? 2v2, like paddle ball with hula hoops and pickleball paddles. So yes, that you get a variety of different things when you're obviously in the education system. And, I've had a couple, emails over the years where I've had a student email me reaching out saying, hey, they, like track, and we do a little intro to track and field in PE. And I've had some kids that have loved the shot put and they continue to do it at the high school. So yes, giving them that little introduction, it can just give one student a little passion about something, and then they choose to do it. So it's kind of cool.
Is there bowling as part of the physical education curriculum in Los Gatos?
We do have a bowling set. And so, yes, we will do, what do we call it? Social games. So we have a social game unit. So we'll do bowling, we'll do spike ball, 9 square. The kids love 9 square, which we'll bring it out at the end of the year. They're asking about it because we did it last year. Gaga ball. I don't know if you guys have heard of Gaga ball, but yes, we do have a little bowling.
Lady Gaga?
I will play Lady Gaga when we play. So yeah,
well, I asked because growing up, we did bowling in Ohio. I mean, that was a social thing, and at the alley, and then in PE. And then Jackie looked at me like I was an alien when I asked if they did bowling.
Do they do darts?
Bowling? She was really excited about archery.
We do, yes, archery. I know. So Jackie will get archery next. So since 7th and 8th grade it's combined. No, did we do archery this year? We did it this year. That's right. So we do it every other year. So you either get it as a 7th grader or an 8th grader, because 7th and 8th is combined. But yeah, archery was great. The kids love it. But we don't do darts. Don't do darts. I don't know if I would trust I guess we could do like a suction cup.
This is why we're not going to homeschool with Craig. The first 2 things he talked about were darts. And before we got on, he was talking about javelin.
Yeah.
So Craig, we have to talk about what's going on over there.
We don't wear protective clothing either. So
and I'm surprised you call them darts. Aren't they called arrows in
Arrows?
English?
Yeah, we'll take kids to the Black Watch.
No.
A field trip to the Black Watch.
Field trip. Teach them how to play darts.
We're trying to build you up as an educator, Craig, right? As a coach. We might have to edit this out. Lisa, let's go back. You said you have twins?
I do. 7-year-old twins.
As a father of twins, can you educate the world on what it's like?
Are yours the same? Are yours 2 girls, 2 boys, or girl, boy?
Boy, girl.
Okay, so same as me.
And they've requested not to be in the same class.
Oh my gosh, this is hilarious because I've been keeping my twins in the same class. How old are yours?
We would love to, because then it's the same homework, it's the same teacher, it's all that. So they're 10, so 5th grade. You'll have them next year.
Same library day, same PE day. That's why it makes it's more of like a selfish reason. I want them in the same class for me. Okay, so they'll be here next year.
But they come home though, and so kindergarten, 1st grade, they were the same. But we have very competitive children, so neither one was able to get away with absolutely anything. So we had, a lot of tattletaling in those early elementary, post-COVID, right, when they're able to actually go have school. So they requested, no, I don't want to be a part of any of their classes together. Short story on, they do this American Revolution presentation, which is 3 hours long. I've now seen it 3 times, one for Jackie, one for Alexa, and then one for Theo. So I could give you that whole speech. So there are some cons to this, but they've been able to now be their own independent people. And yes, they'll be with you next year at Fisher. So Godspeed.
So I think we can relate because it's kind of the same thing. And Craig's going to get a kick out of this one. So they're 1st grade right now. So they're 7. 2 different personalities. Kyler, my son's a rule follower. Jordan, the girl twin, is not a rule follower. Anyway, so it's like, hey, guys, how was school? What'd you guys do? Jordan, did you have a good day? Yeah. Kyler's like, no, she didn't. No, she didn't have a good day. And so he starts, like you say, tattletaling on her, and then she's crying. That's not true. And you're just having to put out fires the whole time. So yes, they're in the same class right now. I'm going to keep them next year, 2nd grade, the same class. But I think at some point, like you say, they're going to have to kind of find their own path and, have separate, different, classes. I think, I'm just doing it because it makes my life easier.
100%. But yeah, it was about the
Jordy's just going to own the school. So this is what we're doing. That's it.
Yeah, her personality will benefit her when she's obviously older, but right now she's exhausting.
Well, and we need more kids like that when they get older to be assertive, confident, and accountable. So let's not. Yes. That's been the biggest battle for us. It's very similar between the twins. There's an authority figure that we're scared of, and a fun-loving, just wants to go with the flow. Very different from birth.
Sounds familiar. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I love it.
Coming from both you and your husband, very athletic, have played at top tiers. How did you approach? I mean, with 7-year-olds as well, they don't know what they really want yet. They want to be exposed to everything. How do you find the balance? And is there any conflict of sport that you'd really want them to do that maybe they're not excited about doing?
Yeah. Just as we were talking earlier, just about how did you get involved in soccer? I mean, I signed all of them up for soccer. I'm thankful that Macy, my 11-year-old, loves it, and she is playing on a comp team. And as Craig said, she definitely has some speed. Doesn't get it from me; it's from Mike. But so I would say soccer is kind of her main sport. We want to, she's doing flag football, obviously, with the next level and all that, and loves that. I want to get her, she wants to do volleyball at Fisher. She wants to do basketball at Fisher, even though we tried to get her to play basketball. She hasn't, we have an older one who plays. She wanted nothing to do with basketball. So we're kind of, just as long as they're involved in something we're happy with. Kyler, my son, does little baseball, little league, flag football, soccer, basketball. So he's at his age, as they should, keeping their feet in a bunch of different activities, and he loves it all. Jordan loves dance. So she's at the jungle dancing her little heart out, and she loves it, and also loves soccer. So yeah, I think at this point we're just trying to let them kind of, do what they want, and they love it all. So yeah, so it's definitely a balance, just trying to get everyone everywhere when they need to be. But yeah, they're enjoying every activity that they're in right now.
Your comment on Little League triggered a thought here. So you've seen at the middle school, you've seen at the high school, you've seen at your collegiate level, and now you're being introduced to the parents of little leaguers, of dance moms and dads. What would you say, based on your expertise, are the craziest sport parents?
Yeah,
She's not been to a dance comp yet, Chad.
I was going to say I have not.
But she knows you.
Yeah, I haven't been to a dance comp yet, but I have heard that there are some crazy ones, because I have some good friends whose son danced, and she was telling me that it was crazy. I don't know. I think they might all be on the same level. I think crazy is crazy, right?
That's true.
I did
That's
experience a crazy. I know you're in the little league world and have been a part of that for a while, but I did experience a crazy little league experience last weekend, which I'm sure you probably heard about.
I witnessed it at the same time, actually. I was on the field.
Were you there?
On the majors field.
You're on the, okay. Yeah. I honestly, I feel like they're kind of all the same. It's just, yeah, like the parents, I mean, just how you're talking to the kids.
I'll say this, Lisa. You and Mike do a good job, and you've both been all the way to the top of collegiate and further, and you just let the kids play. Neither of you overcoach. Just whatever, play. Like, number one, twins, get away from there, go and play. I don't want to hear it, which is great. Macy's, the sweetest kid and loves football, so she just dives into that. And one part, Chad, that you don't know, but I'll call it out. Mike's the best dude, knows nothing about soccer, and Lisa and I call him for all the stats for the high school, because we're not writing anything down. But he's got all the stats on the team we're going to play, the team we played against, the wins, the losses. He finds us.
He's your advanced scout.
He finds the video clips so we can do pre-scouting. It's the best.
Don't let out all your secrets. You're CCS champions now.
And there was one game, he's like, Macy's game, he was like yelling offsides. And I'm like, I look at him, I'm like, Mike, that wasn't offsides. You don't, like, keep your mouth quiet. Like, you're yelling offsides and it wasn't offside. Like, clearly wasn't offsides. Like, don't be one of those parents.
In his defense, nobody knows what offsides is. Lisa, we have a separate chat with Craig and a few coaches in the soccer space of, if I hear one more mom or dad scream, woo, great kick, when the girl just kicks it out of bounds by 40 yards, I'm going to go insane. Offsides, kicking the ball wherever, like, we just on the sidelines should be taking in the sunshine and putting our feet in the grass and then going and get ice cream after.
I agree. Exactly. Going to get ice cream with the kids. And I mean, because that's what they remember. They're not going to remember saying great kick or what this, I mean, I don't even remember what the scores of the game. I mean, I have to ask Craig, what was the score of that game? And yeah, no, I agree. No, I think, the parents just need to enjoy being out there and watching your kids. and just like you say, enjoying the sunshine wherever you are, because a lot of these kids aren't going to play high school or college or, past these youth sports. So let's enjoy it now while we're able to watch our kids.
Yeah.
That's great advice for the parents. We're going to have, people locally listen on the parenting side, on the coaching side. I think the athletes is where I would, like to kind of end us on. If you were to give advice to your middle schoolers, your high schoolers on a piece of advice that you've, from what you've experienced and what you're seeing, I'm curious to hear what that would be.
I think it's just simple. Just enjoy the experience, enjoy each day, enjoy the practices, enjoy the games, enjoy your teammates. Because at some point, it's not going to be there. Yeah, just enjoy the experience, enjoy the people, the teammates, the memories that you're creating, whether it's on or off the field. Enjoy those times, because you're not going to get that back. You only, play youth sports once, high school, one time. If you're obviously fortunate enough to play in college and beyond, just enjoy it. I know for me personally, some of my best friends still to this day are my teammates from high school, college, playing professionally, and in the sports world. And, and you're going to learn a lot of life lessons too with being on a team and working hard. And that translates over to the work world, as all three of us know that. So yeah, I think just enjoy it now. Enjoy the experience, because it's going to end at some point. You just don't know when. So enjoy it now.
Yep. Talking about that real quick, the CyberRays were what, 25 years since that inaugural game?
25. Yeah. Cause we won it in, so 2001. Yeah, that was the first. We won the first professional championship in women's soccer in 2001 when the CyberRays beat Washington. Yeah, 25 years ago.
My God.
Don't do the math.
How many years left with the league after that championship?
So it was the WUSA when I played, the Women's United Soccer Association, started in 01. So that lasted 3 years. So 2001, I played 2 years. While I was playing, earning peanuts, I was getting my teaching credential at the same time and substitute teaching. And so then the third year, I did not play. When I needed to start making some real money, and obviously my body was. So I played the first 2 years of the WUSA, didn't play the third year, started teaching, and then I think it folded after the 3 years, and then it became the league that Leslie played in. It was the Bay
FC
Area
Gold Pride.
I know, and I'm blanking on the name of that league. WPS.
So
is that WPSL? Anyway, so then it was a second league. That one folded, and then now it's where it is today.
NWSL. Yeah.
And it seems like there's incredible traction and following and support. What's different now? It feels different than the first couple go-arounds.
I feel like people now have just bought into women's sports. Watching women's sports, women's soccer, and these athletes. I just think now it's on the map. I think believers like Brandy Chastain, Leslie Osborne, Mia Hamm, all these, household names.
Well, now you got the celebrities as well, right? You've got them buying into the franchises, and who's the Angel FC's got a bunch of.
They have a bunch
down in LA.
Yeah. But Craig, that's a great point. It's all these other professional athletes that are buying into it too. Yep.
It's been incredible for our girls, especially to be able to go to a Bay FC game, 20 minutes away, see the positions and the speed, and those women are incredible to give back to the community as well. There's meet and greets and private trainings and things for them to be exposed to the community, which has been incredible.
I agree.
Hopefully you're going to see some LG high school kids in the next X amount of years playing in NWSL.
That would be incredible. We're going to see them play some Division I soccer coming up here in the next couple of years, right?
Absolutely. Hey, yes, Chad, did Craig tell you we won CCS? We were CCS champions this year. Did he tell you that yet?
No. Did you get patches?
I might have an extra one. We'll see if we can get you one. Put it on your wall.
Well, I cannot wait to see you both on the sideline, because honestly, the enjoyment that you both get out of instructing, coaching, leading, you can see that on the sideline. and to watch across the field, one, the reaction when you guys thought you had a goal late in the game that was not actually a goal because the referee pointed and you both are hugging and celebrating and we're all like, what are they doing? Watching the film on the referee totally led everyone astray. But after that game ended, the smiles on your face and then the players coming up to you, like it was an incredible moment to see everything that you've been building and talking about pay off. And congratulations. I know I make fun of celebrating this constantly. I just feel left out. It's an insecurity on my side.
You can be
Hey, we have
assistant
room
coach.
room for an assistant coach.
So I can scream offsides when they're not offsides. I'm going to have to go be an advanced scout too. That sounds like something I'd be really good at. Well, Lisa, we appreciate you coming on. It's awesome to get your perspective on middle school, high school, and looking forward to continued success at Los Gatos. I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me, you guys. I appreciate it.
All right. For everybody else, please continue to follow us on social media, Instagram, The Struggle Bubble Pod. We'll be back again next week. Until then, we'll see you later.
Adios.
Thanks, guys.